Hello, Future Reed here. I'd like to do some live streams in the future. So if you could hit subscribe, that'd be awesome. I don't want to do a live stream with only 11 subscribers. I'd like at least 100. And if that happens within the next like 6 months, so by the time 2025 rolls around, I'd like to do a live stream at the beginning of next year. We could talk about movies. I'm going to do a book list later, like in a week or two. Like there's a lot that I'd like to do beyond just making videos. We could even play video games together once I figure out how to do that. Like I think that'd be fun. So if you're interested, subscribe, talk to your friends and family, get them in on it. I'd like to have at least 100 before I start live streaming. So, anyways, back to what you wanted to watch.
Hello everybody, Reed here. Alright, the reason why you don't see my face is I've been having some technical difficulties trying to make this video. I had an echo and I didn't know about it until I was editing and I've decided to just re-record with a voiceover. Don't worry, you will see my amazing face later on, but you won't get to see it for this portion. And you probably have seen it already since I've talked about a live stream. But anyways, I did a statistics project where I gathered all of the reviews for the MCU, every MCU film, and I found the average for each. So the average between like critic and audience on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as IMDb, Google reviews, Metacritic, like anything Google would give me, I threw it in and found the average for each film to try to help prevent any bias. I disagree on some of the findings, but that's okay. We all have our own preferences. I might do a tier list eventually. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to happen, but depends on if I can figure out my technical difficulties. All right, and the reason why they have like 0.5, 0.75, etc. for the year is just to help me differentiate between the films because I would get confused. I put them down in like um, chronological order, not release order, but like timeline order, how they happen according to Disney Plus, because Disney Plus is 100% accurate on that sort of thing. But yeah, I've done that, and the point whatever, if you multiply it by 12, you get um, what month the film came out in. So like I said, I've been having technical difficulties. I don't even know what's going on there. I'm just going to keep going. But as you can see, this is with every film, all 40, 45, 46 projects. It says 45, but I think there might be one more that I think I included when I was copying this. But the slope, so this is a scatter plot. And this line is called the line of best fit. And it goes roughly through the middle of the data to determine like if the data is going down, up, or whatever. The correlation coefficient lets us know how much of a correlation it has, if it's tightly knit together or not, if it's a pretty high one, so it doesn't go higher than 1, -1 or 1, and negative just means which direction. But since we know that things are pretty spread out with the reviews, although none of them are below 50, which surprised me. I'm sure I'd get a different answer if I included like Madam Web and Morbius, but those are not MCU films, no matter what people tell you. Anyways, like the correlation just tells me how tightly knit the dots are. And in some places they're really tight, in other places they're not. So it's a pretty low correlation. The slope is a little negative, meaning that it's gone down since Iron Man. But it's still pretty flat. It's really close to 0. Um, like there's a confidence interval here, and what it means is that the true slope, the true like direction it's going, is somewhere between -4 and 3, and 0 fits that parameter. So it's possible to and probable to say that the MCU has not changed much. Like, yeah, it's had ups and downs, but overall it's stayed the same. You could say that. But as we break things apart, you could also say that things have gotten worse. Let me show you what I mean. So the Infinity Saga consists of the films Iron Man, clear to like Endgame or Far From Home, depending on who you ask. And it's you'd think, oh, it's full of a lot better films, and in some ways, yes. The highest and the lowest are actually in the Multiverse Saga, which we'll talk about. But like the slope here is 0.7, which is a pretty strong thing, and the correlation coefficient is a lot more than the previous test. So it means that pretty much all of them are headed that way. Like this outlier here is Captain Marvel, but um, and that's probably the main reason why it's not higher. Same with like Thor: The Dark World and the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Those three films are the lowest out of the bunch. But it has a much wider confidence interval, which to me says that there's a lot more spread and a lot more possibilities. We don't know for sure where the slope is, and like 0 is in between, like it's almost right in the middle of that confidence interval. So it's possible to say that the Infinity Saga was static, didn't change at all. But I don't know, it's just interesting that it's so big, even though when there were more films, it was actually um, less big. So I don't know if my calculations were off or something, but that's what I got. Then for the Multiverse Saga, that's like Black Widow, clear to X-Men 97. I did not include Deadpool Wolverine. It's only been out a week. I don't have enough data yet to confirm it. I might do something with like box office numbers, because that's a lot more concrete. You can't really refute that. Whereas this one, you could say, oh, but Loki, I didn't like this part, so I'd say it's a 70. I mean, to each his own, but personally, no. I think it's fine. And the correlation coefficient is pretty similar to the previous one, which is interesting, to say the least. But maybe I just, no, I didn't do that. I thought I had copied and pasted the exact same things. No, I didn't. But there is a very strong slope, like almost a -5. Like that's pretty strong there. And yeah, it's just a little crazy. But there's a lot more outliers, like down here and even up here, because like that's X-Men 97. And I don't remember what all of these are. I know that one's She-Hulk. That one would be Secret Invasion. Then I don't remember what those other 5 are. It's over here. Um, Echo, the Marvels, probably Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania will be included, Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, those are all the ones below, like in this group. I'm not counting those two, those because those are pretty close. But like these 7 down here. So we've had the same amount of films in each saga, but the overall quality seems to have gone down with the Multiverse Saga, which is interesting. I was very shocked because I don't think the MCU's dead or anything. Like some things I've enjoyed more than others, and I actually disagree with a lot of these. I agree with Secret Invasion. Well, actually, no, I disagree because I would put that lower. I did not like that show, but I actually really enjoyed the Marvels. I wish it had been marketed differently, but like I enjoyed that one. Like at worst, I really dislike them. Like Secret Invasion, She-Hulk, Eternals is probably down here. Might even be that one, which is odd because I thought it'd be lower. But just saying that, like, there's 9 out of 22 that are below the line of best fit. Over half of them are doing all right. But I digress. With the confidence interval, the margin of error, which is like how far from 0, well, from the median, like the middle they are, is astounding. But I'm just astounded at how large that margin of error is because, like, the having the lower and upper bounds in the thousands is insane, which correlates to the correlation coefficient. There's just so much going on, and it's not 100% sure where the slope would be. So it's possible that it's going up, and where 0 is in there, it is possible, not very likely. Where the estimated slope is almost 5, -5, like that tells me that it's very clearly gone downhill. But X-Men 97 is the only one to reach over 90 with my method, which is interesting. Like Rotten Tomatoes has some that are over 90 on their own, but for like finding all the averages, X-Men 97 is the only one that stayed above 90. Not even Endgame did that, which was pretty interesting. And She-Hulk is the lowest rated one, and yeah, it's probably one of my least favorite Marvel projects, but I liked it more than Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was painful. At least She-Hulk we got Daredevil. All right, now the question is the Infinity Saga worse than the Multiverse Saga? And the reason why I'm testing for worse is because if I test for better, that's what those other tests just told me. I need to test for the opposite. And with this, like I said, the orange is the multiverse saga, the blue is the Infinity Saga.
I think they are doing things to get things back on track. Like, for example, they fired some people who were causing issues behind the scenes. They also have been hiring talent, both directing and writing and acting, that will help the movies be better. And they've slowed down their production a lot. Like, Deadpool and Wolverine is the only MCU film this year. We will get Agatha all along this fall, and then next year we'll get Captain America, the Thunderbolts, and the Fantastic Four for sure. There's a lot of announcements that they haven't made, and they might do that next week at D23. We'll find out. Keep an ear out for that. But I think, and like they're bringing back the Russo brothers for Doomsday and Secret Wars. I think Marvel is doing the best they can to make things right. And a lot of people might say, oh, but they should have done that forever ago. Production takes a long time. And they might have just gone to the point, like production takes 3 to 4 years, and so sometimes longer, and so they might not have been able to make changes sooner than now. But we know they've done some reshoots for Captain America Brave New World. They've done some changes for the Thunderbolts. I think generally it will turn out okay. And like at worst, I'm just curious as to what they're going to do. Like with Agatha all along and the Thunderbolts, I'm more curious than excited. I'm pretty excited for Brave New World. I think that'll be fun. And like Doomsday, the Fantastic Four, Secret Wars, those are all going to be really fun. I'm really excited for those. But we don't know what other films they've got coming. Like they've talked about Blade, but that's had issues. There's a lot of sequels that could be made. So, who knows? We'll find out probably within the next 7 to 8 days. But we'll know what their plan is probably next weekend during D23. If not, then we'll have to wait another year until San Diego Comic Con. But I don't think they would do that. I mean, they could. They've got things planned out till then. But yeah, the biggest thing that has me excited is Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom. Like, that's going to be really fun. Now, okay, before you sound off in the comments and go, oh no, it was a terrible idea, I had a lot of issues with it at first. I feel like it'd be very hard to see RDJ as anything other than Tony Stark, and it felt kind of like nostalgia bait. I wasn't really looking forward to that. Like, I enjoy cameos when they're done right, but I was like, really? Are you kidding me? But the more I've thought about it, the more I like it. So, like, first of all, the Russo brothers did Captain America the Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, and they blew it out of the park. Like, I think they did a phenomenal job with all four films. So having them back for Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think it will turn out well. And with and that they know how to tell a good story. Like, I'm not worried that the story is going to be bad, at least for those two films. Now, Fantastic Four, I don't know. That's a little up in the air. And the other projects, who knows? But I think the two next Avengers films will be very well made and have a really good story, really good script. Um, my biggest issue with Doctor Doom is they haven't been setting him up. They've been setting up Kang, and then they're now going to Doctor Doom because of the issues with Jonathan Majors. And personally, I would like some closure with Kang, but who knows? We'll see what they do. I think RDJ is a good enough actor that he will play Doctor Doom very well. Like, I'm not worried about his acting at all. And I'm actually really excited to see how they handle his character. Because on one hand, they could have him show his face and be fighting the Avengers face to face, like literally face to face. And we could see Spider Man freak out that the villain looks like his mentor. We could see a variant of Cap go up against him, like Bruce Banner, who was good friends with Tony, would have issues as well. Like, it'd be very interesting to see the reactions if they show RDJ's actual face. Now, they could also go a comic accurate route, which is where Doctor Doom is horribly disfigured. And, like, I'm not a queasy sort of person. I don't get grossed out easily. I read the 2015 Secret Wars comic book. Might have been 2017, but the newest Secret Wars book. And they show Doom's face, and he's like missing a nose, missing teeth. He's bald. He's scarred. Like, he looks awful. Like, he's been through a lot. And they might do a similar thing, and that would explain why they revealed RDJ as Doom now. Because if they're going to mess up his face, we won't realize it's RDJ without the cast and the credits and without this announcement. And yes, they announced it to build up a lot of hype, to get people excited again, get people talking about it like this. And obviously, RDJ being Doom is not new news because that announcement was like 6 days ago. But I don't record on. Well, I do record earlier than Fridays, but I don't post before or after Friday if I can help it. So that's why I'm late. But with RDJ as Doom, I think another route they could go is he will just wear the mask the entire time. Like, make it this big reveal. But that doesn't make sense because why reveal that it's RDJ if you want that to be a big twist? Like, that doesn't make sense. So I think they might. I mean, they could do that. But I think what they're going to do is have him just wear the mask off and on and show his real face, but not set it up to be a big reveal because he's in the Fantastic Four film. Like, I think they'll show his face earlier than later, especially now that they've announced who it is. So, yeah, they could make him very different than Tony Stark, which is another concern I had, is that he'll just be an evil Tony. But I've since learned there are at least 2 comics, possibly 3, where Tony Stark and Doctor Doom swap places, or Tony Stark becomes Doom. And so they could do some sort of story with that. And that would be interesting. Like, have Doom take over Tony's body. Who knows? And with RDJ as Doom, I've realized that they could still give us Doom later. So, not the same Doctor Doom. But, like, do a recast and have Doom show up in the next saga, whatever that's going to be. But we could have Doom be an integral part of the story later on. Just because they're doing him now doesn't mean they can't do him again later or have him be there. And I think that would be really neat to see. And, like, Like, that's a possibility. Also, they didn't say RDJ was back exclusively as Doom. Maybe they did. But I've watched the SDCC footage. They didn't say anything about that. And so we could get RDJ as Iron Man and as Doctor Doom. We could have them both go head to head, which would be interesting. I don't think they will, but they could. And one last thing that I think would be really exciting. Hold on, I lost my train of thought. So I'm going to scratch my nose till I remember. One thing that I think is super cool is the narrative structure that this is giving the MCU. That the Infinity Saga, RDJ was a hero. Now in the Multiverse Saga, he is one of the main villains. That's a weird angle. And so having your villain be the previous hero is really cool. And they kind of did that with Star Wars, but they not really. Like, we knew Darth Vader was Anakin before we met Anakin. But, like, it'd be cool to see. That's something new. I haven't seen anyone have the hero be the villain like this before. I mean, there's probably something. I feel like Shakespeare would do that. But off the top of my head, all of the popular films keep their villains and heroes separate. They don't let their heroes become a villain. I guess Dune does, but he's not really a villain. He's just chaotic neutral. Anyways, we're not talking about Dune. We're talking about the MCU. I'm just hopeful with it. I think it'll get better and be better than it has been. And just because the trend has been that things are getting worse doesn't mean it'll stay that way. I think they've recognized that and that they're making changes. So I'm hopeful. And let me know down in the comments if you think that it's a good idea to bring in RDJ, or if you think it's a bad idea, if you're hopeful for the MCU, or if you're like, nope, it's dead. It's not coming back after this. I think it will, but who knows? Let me know. Your opinion is valid, and even if it's different than mine. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and remember to lend a hand to those who need it. Bye.